to-do list and I'm going to feel so accomplished. But I think that the more that we pile on, then that's when we feel so depleted, so like just sometimes out of tune. Like we just do so much that it's like I've burned myself out. Like there's no more to give. This is Vivian Velasquez.
And this is Raul Velasquez.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast. My name is Raul Velasquez, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host,
Vivian Velasquez.
And I'm excited today. I'm excited because I always get excited when people ask us questions. So thank you for the questions. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the DMs. We got one question that we're going to focus on that's really good, that's really hitting home today.
Yes. And when I read the question, it was funny because you said, is this you asking the question?
I thought it was you trying to give me an incognito feedback there.
I'll do that next time. But I just think like this, and it's funny, like the way that the way that she starts saying like it's not a very important question or it might not be relevant. But I think it's so relevant to what we're going through right now. And it just has so much to do with what we are facing, even after COVID or after a storm or in a daily routine that we fall into. So let me just read the question.
Before the question, let me frame it by saying, every single, as a man, we love to go 100 miles an hour. Like that's one of the patterns that I see, especially if you're an overachiever, especially if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you only have one gear, which is going 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And going 100 miles an hour, sometimes we feel that's what's creating progress, but at the end of the day, we're burning out. And one of the things that I'm learning, especially the last 6 months that we've been part of this COVID, is how do we adapt the days? How do we adapt to this new version of ourselves that's operating a different capacity because we don't have the outlet anymore of traveling or going to business meetings or seeing people, one-on-one. So sometimes we just like to do one thing and go 100 miles an hour in that one thing, but we get burned out. So there's a thing that I'm gonna share with them, which is the power days. So
that's something that you just started incorporating.
A client of mine asked me a question. He said, Raul, how do you set up your week? And I started looking at my week and I realized that I have some power days, I have some calibration days, and I have some reset and recharge days. And I have a day like today. Today's like a flex day, like a middle, like power day in the morning, and then a reset and recharge in the afternoon when we go to our date night. I think that's key to understand that if you want to be a high performer, you have to learn how to operate not just 100 miles an hour, but calibrate and also reset and recharge.
And I think, you just saying that is just because we are so into this society, right? Like this way of living, that the more that we do, then the more that we're going to have. And even like as a mom, as a businesswoman that's just starting, like just to think like, okay, the more that I'm going to do, then it means like I'm going to be like this overachiever, that I'm going to have like, I'm going to go down this to-do list and I'm going to feel so accomplished. But I think that the more that we pile on, then that's when we feel so depleted, so like just sometimes out of tune. Like we just do so much that it's like I've burned myself out. Like there's no more to give.
And we have to be careful. We have to be careful because sometimes we do things and we do more things that are unnecessary.
Right. Not so productive.
And look what happened last week. Like last week we had the storm, right?
Right.
And we couldn't find a hotel for a couple of days here locally, but then we couldn't find hotels for a bunch.
They didn't have it.
They didn't have hotels for like 2 towns over. Yeah. So we decided to go to New Jersey and we decided to go to the beach. And we said, let's make a getaway from this, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And we rented a hotel that was about, I would say, a mile and a half from the beach. A mile and a half from the beach. It was like a walk to the beach, right? Yeah. But we had the cool thing about this hotel is that they gave us the beach chairs, they gave us the boogie boards, the towels, everything was set up, and even a driver that took us it was like a VIP from the hotel to the beach. So that's the coolest thing. It's like, okay, they don't have to go anywhere. Yeah. It's a beautiful hotel. We end up going to the beach, and then when we get to the beach, what didn't we have when we get to the beach?
Nothing to drink, water, food.
We had water, but we had no food. We had nothing to we didn't have a cooler. We didn't have an umbrella.
Oh, but that's because you wanted to pamper me.
Because you don't like the sun. Abigail doesn't like the sun. And then here I am. I could just sit down and say, you know what? Let's just
enjoy for a little while.
For what we have. But then again, the mindset of looking to provide and being an overachiever, I said, I'm gonna go to find an umbrella, right? So I had to walk.
You left real quick.
And I went to, I said, I saw a store, and it was like a CVS, but
In a surf shop.
it was a surf shop. So I said, let me
Yeah.
go to the surf shop to get the umbrella. But I said, you know what? If I want to get an umbrella, I'm gonna need some drinks. I'm gonna need some food. So let me go walk to the nearest CVS.
Okay.
And then going to the nearest CVS, it was about a mile and a half walk. So I'm walking about a mile and a half to the CVS because I didn't feel right calling an Uber from for just a mile and a half is just ridiculous, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then I go to the CVS and I find an umbrella, then I find the cooler, and I'm piling out a bunch of food, a bunch of stuff, and water. Then I said, now I'm gonna call the Uber because now I'm gonna need some help. I can't
Yeah,
carry this
yeah.
for a
Now
mile
it's
and a half.
heavy.
But there were no Ubers. There were zero Ubers around. So now I have to carry this shit all the way to the beach. And in my mind, what I kept on thinking was how you were gonna see me, how Abby was gonna see me, of being surprised that here I am bringing the umbrella, bringing food, bringing all these things. And I walked about a mile and a half carrying that shit, sweating my ass off,
Aw.
and carrying the cooler with a bunch of stuff. But at the end, did you use the umbrella?
Yes.
Abigail didn't use the umbrella. You used the umbrella probably half the time. So I'm thinking it wasn't even necessary
Yeah.
to do all that. Like, and that's what we do as men, is that we try to do so much sometimes, but it wouldn't have been better if we just stayed,
Mm.
enjoyed. I think it took me 45 minutes, probably 45
No,
minutes,
not even. Not even.
about 45 minutes of missing quality time with the family.
Yes. And like, did you feel praise? Did you feel like how loved we felt that you actually
It
went?
wasn't as it wasn't, to be honest with you, it wasn't as high it was explained to me. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, awesome, this is great food. You're my hero. At the end, I was like, nah, we don't want the umbrella. Oh, we don't like these drinks. I was like, fuck.
Bro, it was just
Like-
water. Stop it. Okay, so I am sorry that I didn't praise you enough, but I thought, you know what? I think it was so cute to see you like with with
Listen,
this.
I felt good
with
coming
this-
back.
with this cooler trying to get through the sand. That was my thing. Like I was watching you like drag this cooler through the sand, and I know how hard it is just to walk on the sand. And you were like dragging it, and it just filled me with love and so much appreciation for who you are. And you didn't hesitate now one bit. You just got up and you left to go find the umbrella. So I did appreciate it. I did enjoy the umbrella, and I understand what you're saying, but those little things I think are so far more appreciated than you think.
And woman, maybe just a tip. If your man is going out of his way to bring you some shit, even if you don't like it, just give him the praise.
And
Because
use
next
it.
time, guess what? I'm not
Yeah,
going to bring the fucking umbrella. I'm not going to bring the cooler. Because, at the end of the day, I felt good doing it.
That's right.
I felt good doing
Yeah.
it. So I'm learning as an overachiever, just being real with myself. Like I was doing it also for me. I was doing it because, and I drink the water. I ate the food, and
Yeah.
I love the sun, so I didn't sit on the umbrella, but at
Yeah.
least I felt prouder. Put the umbrella
Yes,
there, and that
yes.
umbrella wasn't going anywhere.
That's right. You're
So,
so cute.
so as an overachiever, you need to make sure that you don't burn yourself out, because it would have been easy to miss the whole experience of the day by
Yes.
trying to do something that was probably unnecessary.
And I think like, things like that, it's like, okay, you are doing it for the greater good, right? But there's certain times that we do things that are not necessary. And the umbrella was necessary, but there's so many other things or so many other times that we do stuff that it's not really
And
necessary.
come to think about too, this is a pattern, because Abigail's the same way. The other day I came in, I think I had ice cream or something,
Okay.
and I brought it in. I'm going to Ben and Jerry, not Ben and Jerry's. I don't know what the ice cream. She likes the half and half or something like that,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So I went to two of those stores looking for the half baked Ben and Jerry ice cream that she had, and I came home, and the
Okay.
first thing she says was something like, "Where are the cookies?" or something like that. And what I told her is like, if somebody does something good for you,
Praise them for
praise
that.
them, because
Yes.
next time, guess what? I'm
They're
not
not
gonna
gonna
get you
do it.
shit,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so now it's just, thank you, daddy, thank you for
Yes.
getting me. So she's learning as a little girl now to praise the masculine when he's doing something, because I think that's a
Yes.
big pattern of women. Like, it's never enough.
Yeah,
It's
it's like,
never
oh,
enough.
okay, you knew I wanted that, or you should have gotten that, or that's what I deserve. But it's just maybe not being in tune with what's happening at the moment. So like it goes so fast. So it's like, okay, you came in, you gave me the ice cream, or you came in and you brought the umbrella. That was supposed to happen, but it's not really supposed to happen. And I think we focus so much on the things that we don't get, that we're so used to that pattern that when we do get something, we don't have the courage to actually praise the other
Because
person.
it goes a long way, especially one of the patterns that I see subconsciously. If you start to study psychology, you get a hit of dopamine. I see what with my son. My
Yeah.
son is like, he's working with me. We have a summer internship. He's getting paid to work with me, so he
That's
has a
right.
podcast
He's
going
very
on.
happy with it.
So every time I see it, when I tell him, "Hey, man, that was a great insight that you had, or that was a great conversation," he wants to do it more.
Yeah.
He wants to show up more. But if I criticize him and say, "Hey, next time you could have done better, or next time you do this," and I'm learning myself as a father
I know.
but it's not a fake praise.
Mhm.
You can't just tell your
It
kids
has to
or
be
your husband that is,
authentic.
"Oh, you're doing a great job," when you half-ass and shit. It has to be, and those little things that when doing a great job, just let them know.
Yeah.
Let them know like that you appreciate what they're doing.
That's
All
a
right,
good one.
so let's go into the questions. That was my rant for
Yes. But I
the
did
beach.
appreciate that the umbrella, and the umbrella will stay in our garage for many summers to come.
But that's a pattern that we have when we go to the beach. We always carrying a lot of shit. Last
That's why
summer,
last time we didn't carry anything. We
man, we,
didn't
we
want to
went there.
carry
We looked
anything.
like at the immigrant family crossing the border. We had the umbrella, we had the boom box, we had the cooler.
Oh,
This time
stop it.
I had like a big ass cooler. So like we're learning how to
Yes.
travel light this
Yes.
time.
But I love you for it because you always make every experience memorable. Okay, so this question is okay. I know this may not seem like it's very important, but it is. I'm telling you, every question is very important. May not be
So
very important
she
question.
started
She's
she
saying that.
started
She's
with
saying
that.
that.
She
I
started with
know
that.
that this may not seem like a very important question or a problem, but it's truly taking a toll in our relationship. I love my husband, but I feel so disconnected from him. My husband is truly addicted to TV. It's not just your husband, it's everybody's husband that gets addicted to TV, social media. I mean, TV could just be replaced with social media, your computer, like whatever becomes an addiction. I'm just saying that. He could sit there for hours and feel so left out and truly don't know how to get his attention. Sometimes I don't even know if I want to get his attention because it feels like he'd rather do something else. I would love any insight you can provide. And it's funny because she put her name and then she put thanks, a desperate wife.
Desperate housewife.
That's so cute. Don't get desperate. I think if we get desperate, it just brings that energy of like desperation and like anxiety, and you don't want that. It seems like it's a big problem, but I'll just tell you how I solved it because my husband was the same way.
When
And
I heard that, when you would tell me that, I was like, is that you trying to give me some feedback? Is that
because
you
that
trying
was
to
you,
give
that
me?
was you in the past. And here's the thing, like there was every question, think of like every question that you send and every question that you want to ask it's never a stupid question or a little question because there's so many of us that could relate. And if you have the courage to ask that question, it will help someone else that is listening to this. And even us, like to think back of like how we went through this stuff, because I have to share this with you.
I have
Like
an addiction for
Raul and
TV.
I have been married for a couple of years now, 20 plus years. We've been together for 20 plus years. And I remember the first year that we moved into one of our first homes, we didn't have internet, or we didn't have cable or anything that had to do with a TV, because we made a promise to each other that when we moved in that we were going to dedicate our time to each other, because Raul knew that his addiction was a TV. Like he could literally sit in front of the TV for hours on end after he did his work and after he, like always has been a hardworking businessman. So that part he never failed. He's always been a provider for us. But when he had his downtime, you would just sit there and not even like watch a real show, but just scroll through the
It's
channels.
hunting.
Oh
It's
my
hunting.
gosh, or
It's
like
hunting.
commercials or TV or whatever it was. And like he managed to, in the middle of the night, make an antenna.
Because we didn't have cable.
We didn't have
That's how bad
cable.
my addiction with TV
Yes,
was. We
we
didn't have
decided not
cable.
to have cable. So he actually made an antenna out of a hanger. And I even think, like, I remember you trying to put this thing together, and I'm thinking to myself, like, he's going to electrocute himself, and making the antenna out of a hanger so he could catch some service. And I think you managed to get
I
like
will
two
put
or
it. Yeah, I
three
got two local channels.
local
One was the
channels.
Spanish telenovela, so
Oh my God.
I ended up until 2 or 3 in the morning just watching
Telenovelas.
TV because that's the addiction. That's the as I understand later on, the pattern is I was trying to turn off my mind.
Mm.
I was trying, and that's the feedback that I'll give this lady that sends a message is that your man probably two things are happening. One, he's going 100 miles an hour and he doesn't know how to turn it off. And the only way sometimes that we know how to turn it off is either we drink, we sedate, or we watch something that takes us out of our current reality so we could experience something else. And that's what movies does. Movies take us out of that's what they do. They take out of our current reality. What I was looking at now, looking back, is I was thinking constantly, going 100 miles an hour in my head.
That's the only way
That
for
the
you
only
not
way for me
to.
to kind of like
Yeah.
have a good night's sleep is to actually think of something that has nothing to do with my life
Yeah.
and just
But it's
watch
not
TV.
really having a good night's sleep. Like if you're watching TV, subconsciously you're like you're preparing yourself with all these things on TV. Like I don't think that's a good thing to go to sleep. So here's the thing for us as women. It's like, okay, so how do I put this? We want the attention all the time, right? So like if you're sitting there for too long, then I'm asking like, how do I get your attention? Do I even want to get your attention? And
Well, that
then
was the dangerous part where she said, does she even want to get attention, right? Because doesn't even want, it's too much work now to get the
no, not
attention.
I don't think it's that because I could relate to that when she's saying something like this and maybe rephrase us to the fact like, okay, once I get your attention, once attention is eyes on me, then do you really want to be with me or do you still want to watch TV and be with whatever else that's happening? Because I think sometimes that happens even like to us. It's like, I don't want to bother you because you're already watching a movie or you're watching TV. Do you really want to come and sit with me and listen to me? So it's not from a place like he doesn't want to be with me, but from a place like, okay, maybe he's already like settled down. I mean, that's how I'm interpreting. He's already settled down. Do I really want to take him away from that?
So I think that the main thing is to really understand what's the purpose of, like, if you're not bring him from watching TV, bring him to the bedroom and start
It
talking about
better
all
be
the
something
problems.
good.
Exactly. You have to see how do you get his attention out of something that he's engaged in to something that is going to work for both of you.
Mm.
TV, alcohol, porn, anything. It's
Any
an addiction. It's
addiction.
an addiction.
Yeah.
It's a escape. It's a way to escape.
Yeah.
Maybe he's burning out. Maybe he's just too busy at work and coming home and just wants to veg out in front of the TV. Many of my clients have found me after they're like, man, I'm just so not passionate about my business anymore or
Yeah.
my life period that I just, I'm scrolling through social media. I'm scrolling through Facebook. I'm scrolling through YouTube. And then all of a sudden they watch a video of me like pretty much punching them in the face and said, hey, have you lost the edge? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
If you're sedating, if you're just watching TV, if you're just playing video games or watching porn or doing anything that's not productive, that's sedation.
Yeah.
And if you have a pile of bills and if you have problems in your business, you have problems in your marriage, then you're escaping those problems. So
Yeah.
anything that's going to take you away from your problems as a way to escape. Now, how do you solve it is you start really looking at, okay, what's useful, what's not useful, instead of looking at what's bad or good, right? You could sit here and say TV is bad all day long, but the reality is it useful or not useful? Sometimes I go
Could be
through
useful.
100 miles an hour and I need to watch a movie that takes me off of my head so I could actually connect. And I've done that. We have, events, boot camp, and the first thing I do is I just say, babe, I just need to unwind. I go get a workout. I come home, I watch a movie, and I can actually, relax, and then I'm actually able to be human because I still have that energy sometimes of being on my boot camp events or in business.
So then that's kind of like, I wouldn't say like you have the permission to do it, but I think a lot of the times what happens is like not just with men but men and women, right? Like in a relationship, you give your all when you're outside the home, when you're in the business. So you're giving like, I would say like 98% of who you are on the outside. And then you come home and when you walk through those doors, that 2% that you're bringing back home, it's like the leftover. So then you come home, it's like, of course you don't have time to dedicate for the relationship and the talking and, the sex making and the babies and the cooking and all the stuff that like relationships at home still have a need for. So I think a lot of the times it's like, we have to be present to that because I know that, like when you come home, you still have a wife, you still have kids, you still have stuff to take care of at home. You can't just bring that 2%. So I think, for me, like I have to remind myself, like I have to pace myself throughout the day and I have to like breathe and I have to take care of myself in my app with this ring, like it tells you like you could have a meditation time. So I take those times and I meditate. So then when you come home, then I have to force myself to close my computer, to put my phone away because see, I'm not addicted to the TV because I don't like to sit there. I can't physically sit there. I think for women, it's really hard for us to sit there and do nothing because that's just the way that I'm wired, that we're wired, but I have to put my phone down because I'm addicted to social media. I'm addicted to my shopping thing. Like I love to shop on Amazon and I love to shop on
I was gonna say that. Listen,
like Shopbop or whatever.
women criticize men all the time, but you don't watch
we do the
TV.
same
But I
thing.
see the Amazon orders coming in, and every single day there's a fucking box in the front door. So like, at least
It's
I'm
always
watching
something.
TV. I'm not ordering anything. If your man is watching TV, he hasn't ordered anything.
He's doing nothing.
He's doing nothing.
He's
But
doing
women
nothing.
are into shopping.
Yes.
And that's the other part. It's like what's useful and what's not useful. Again,
I'm shopping for the house. I'm
Yeah,
not shopping for me.
that's what you keep telling me. That
Yes.
what are those boxes? What are those boxes?
I see the Amazon guy. I see the UPS guy. I'm like, don't come here right now. Don't come. Don't come. Drop
Every
those
single
boxes.
day there's a box in the house.
So okay, so then like for me, that's my thing, right? So then like I have to put my computer down, I have to put my phone down, and I have to be present to like, okay, now how can we make this
Disconnect.
time together?
How can we connect?
How can we disconnect from our addictions? Because that's a
And connect- and
choice,
connect
right?
with
And
each
then
other.
connect with the person that's in front of me, whether it's your kids, whether it's your spouse, or whether it's yourself. And yes, we all need a little downtime. Like it's funny because Alison Armstrong, which is one of my greatest mentors, she talks about how like men need to sit in front of the TV and do nothing. What are you doing, honey? Nothing, but you're still sitting in front of the TV because really for you that's like nothing. And for us as women, like we're always running around, always looking, not looking, but the stuff is looking for us, is always calling our attention. And the only way that you get our attention is through actually like physical touch and being the loudest thing in the room. And we were talking about this, right? It's like you need to touch us, you need to hold our hand and like bring us literally to like where you want us to go, whether it's sit in the couch or go to bed or whatever it is, right? But like men or women are so completely different. And I think that we need to really learn to honor that part, not try to change it, but try to have this like conversations and have this discussions of like, listen, like I need to feel loved. Like I also need you, or whatever it is that you need to feel loved and you need to be seen.
I think that's where the key thing is finding what influences him or her. What is their need? Because
Yeah.
for men, the need is to create. The need is to continue to go 100 miles an hour and be a driver. Like
Yeah.
I find myself when I go home, I need to shift. I
Right.
need to shift from that mode of being the warrior to being the king,
Yes.
and stepping into the other version of myself, as to be able to be with my family. So I'm not just a crazy fucking maniac going in there.
Right.
But at the same time, there has to be an outcome, has to be a role. And if a man is coming home and nobody's praising him, saying, "Hey, great to see you," and then the kids are over, and then of course he's gonna go in front of the couch and just have control of the one thing that he control, which is hunting.
The TV,
in the
just
TV.
being there and doing nothing. That's a good thing that you say that too, because one of the things that like I have done, and this is something that could literally like change anybody's day, is when somebody walks through that door, and you get to see this from our dog Benji. Like he's so good at that. Just animals are good at that because it's like they're generally so happy to see you, right? So like they're the first ones at the door. And if you could be like that little animal and actually, I don't necessarily want you to run to the door, but like to go to greet the person and be able to change that energy of the room when somebody comes in and genuine, be happy for you seeing the person and greeting that person, and almost like have that dramatic entrance of like, I know you do that. You're so good at that. You're like, when you come in, you're like, honey, I'm home. And you're like screaming from the top of your lungs and you change that energy. And we're like, generally, like, we're so happy to see you. And I'm so happy to hold you because God gave you back to me again, right?
It's intentional. And
Yes.
that's what the things. It wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't.
It's intentional and feedback. And it started by just communicating. It's like, what would I like to see? I tell my kids, listen, I'm
You
coming
say
home.
that all the time.
I tell the kids, like, is Benji the only one that's happy to see me?
No, we're
And
all happy to see
And
you,
then I call
Daddy.
Alejandro and I call
Yes.
Abigail. And
Yes.
so then that's the communication. Is like, what is it that you want to see, and get clear.
So you
of
had
what
to
you want
say
to
that. You had to
I have
tell
to
us that.
speak what I
Yeah.
want, because otherwise, it's not going to happen
Right.
in any area, your business, your relationship.
Yeah.
Speak your truth, speak what you want, and don't force people, but at the same time, act as if it's already happening.
And I think it's good
Because
to
if
ask.
you're coming in and you're asking people to greet you just because you're the gift for them, that's it might
That's
be
a different
authentic.
energy.
But if you're coming in with like, listen, I'm happy to see you guys.
Yeah.
I'm generally happy to see you, and then the energy is mutual.
Yes.
And little by little, it's just part of the game. I mean, it's hard being married for a long time, and sometimes
It's
the guys
hard,
need to
but it's
beautiful at the
need to
same time.
know
Know the patterns, and sometimes we go too hard. That guy might be burned out. The poor guy might be working 80 hours a day, and all he wants to do is watch TV for a couple hours. And again, I'm biased because I talk to men all the time, and I know a lot of the times most men are just want to provide, just want to be dragging the
the
umbrella for a mile and a half,
and you guys
and
are
the
so
cooler,
good at that.
and then we come to the beach and nobody's telling us nothing. Then all we want to do is sit down there and do nothing. So next time
you won't get the umbrella if you
praise
don't.
praise your husband for what he's doing right, because what's wrong is always available, but also what's right. All right, so great. So thank you for that question. And if you have any questions, send us a DM, comment below. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us everywhere except for our bedroom. That's where we keep it private.
That's right.
Thank you for being here today, baby.
Love you.
Appreciate you. And I honor you every single time that you step out of your comfort zone to share some insights with people out there. Learn it, live it, experience it.
Love life.
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take it to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.